Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt. We do the beer stuff here. A little bit more Bonesaw, barrel-aged, hopeful goodness up in this piece in the form of their Outen the Light. Outen? Outen? Out in? Are they being like a jokey thing here? I don't know. This would be my fifth Bonesaw review, fourth barrel-aged jam. I dig their barrel-aged stuff. Bonesaw's in Jersey. Never been to the brewery. They're a little bit further away from me, so it's kind of hard to get to. And I've said this in the other reviews. Preconceived notion. Not a big fan of the name. I don't know Bonesaw. I always think of like, Macho Man in the first Spider-Man. Like, I got you for 3 minutes or whatever he says in there, because he was called Bonesaw. Anyway, not that isn't a great character. Rambling. And then I reviewed their ominous synth music, and I was hooked. Since then, I've done 2 other ones. I think the last one I did was fine. I was like, I liked it, but it didn't blow my doors off. So hopefully, we have a little bit more going on with this one. Man, that cap looks, that's either a lot of wax or this thing's going to pop out of the bottle. I don't know if you can see how bulbous, you like that word, bulbous? That top is. But anyway, what are we opening here? Well, hopefully, we don't get injured. It's a Templeton Rye Whiskey, 15.3% barrel-aged barley wine. Out in the light barrel-aged barley wine, brewed with 6 imported German and Belgian specialty malts for layers of malt complexity with this behemoth that was aged for 14 months in Templeton Rye whiskey barrels. Undertones of toffee, dark caramel, pralines, and butter pecan candies are complemented by top notes of dried dark berries. Do we get a year? I think they date their stuff on the label, if I'm not mistaken. 2021. There you go. So even better. Couple 2-3 years old, being that we're in 2024. I'm going to stab this out of curiosity and see what we get here. Stab it down, because I feel like that's, I don't know. I'm scared. It might be, you might want to go take a bathroom break. It might take me a little bit to get to this fucking wax, because it is thick. I'm gonna cut myself so bad one of these days. I know it. Ow. I should get one of those fancy openers. But then you guys wouldn't have the pleasure of watching me struggle with this stuff. I think we've made a lot of headway on that little turn there. Okay. So good thing the cap isn't bulging. There's just a crap ton of wax. You're talking about thick wax. That be thick wax right there. Okay. I think we're good now. Why am I doing this? Open thing. Dummy. You big dummy. Okay. Nice little hiss there. Didn't jump out, didn't explode, which was nice, but it also had a nice little hiss, so I'm excited. Label-wise, like I said, I wasn't like the biggest Bonesaw fan as far as their marketing and labeling, but see, this is what beer does. Now that I really, really do enjoy their beers, their barrel-aged beers more specifically, I think their labels are pretty nice, because when I see them, I get a little excited, because I'm like, ooh, that's beer I'm probably going to enjoy. I mean, it doesn't look much Barleywine-esque. I mean, there is mahogany tones of this thing if I hold it up to a light, but it very much looks like stout. But you're talking about barrel-aged, couple years, a year plus a year. What was it again? 14 months, I think they said, right? 14 months, so a bit over a year in the barrel, and then the additional, I think it was bottled in 2012 or 2021. We're 3 years apart from that, so you're talking about something that's sat for 4 years, so it kind of makes sense, the coloration on it, but it looks nice. It looks like very much like Coca-Cola. Not much of a head on it, but there was a head there when I first poured it, and if I give it a little bit of a swirl, we get some carbonation back, get a little bit of head back, so that's nice. Let's see if we can get a nose. Whew. Oh, good God. That thing is hot. Hot. I don't know if it's going to actually be hot in the taste, but it's boozy. It's aggressive. It's vibrant. It's electric. Listen. Basically a 16% barley wine aged in barrels for 14 months. This is what I want. I'm not, it's not a negative thing. With it being that, just jumping out of the glass, vibrant, huge toffee caramel vibes. Very much like leaning in this Coca-Cola thing since I said it. Smelt it. It's very much smells like OG, like soda jerk kind of Coca-Cola, like sarsaparilla to a certain extent. And it is a rye barrel too. Don't forget. So there's maybe that little bit of spiciness is what's leading me there, but it's just a malt bomb. Very, very volumetric proportions. And it smells equal parts. It smells definitely like you're getting a big booze hit off of this from the spirit portion of the show, but you're getting a big booze hit from that barley wine also. I'm super curious to see how this goes down because it really is so electric. I believe there's a lot more to it in the taste. I think you're just getting hit with beer, spirit, back and forth of this just huge volumetric character that I think there's going to be layers to it. I think you're going to have, well, we're going to find out, but at this point, I think you can have those coconuts, those vanillas, those nice kind of pecan kind of things they're talking about on the label, but also the stuff that you really hope you get from a really well done barrel-aged English barley wine. Just dive in. Cheers. It's not even funny how good this is. The mouthfeel in this is epic. And it's just, there's so many other things that are great about it, but the first thing that jumped out to me when I put my hands up, it wasn't a flavor thing. It was like, I can't believe the mouthfeel on this thing for a barley wine. It's exactly what I want from an aged, barrel-aged barley wine. It's viscous, but not dense. Like a lot of times, you know, you can get that nice dense mouthfeel, that thick, 5C thick that you get on all these like Florida stouts and things like that. This has, how do I phrase it? So those have a gravity and a mass to them. Let's get nerdy. This has a mass, but not the gravity. If that makes any sense. It feels viscous, but it's not dense and thick to drink. So it has that cool trick it's pulling off that is just a special component, a special tent mark or tent pole of really well done barrel aged barley wine. Even I should say really well done barley wine that has like 20 years on it. To me, that's what barrel aged barley wine is meant to be. It's basically really well done English style barley wines. American barley wines get to do. I'm talking about old school Hardys and Lees and things like that. When they get 15 years on them, this is kind of where they go. This is a different beer, but it's kind of in that same ballpark, and that's what a lot of barrel aging does and gets you to that place quicker. You don't have to wait those 15 years. You have to wait 4. But it has a superb mouthfeel. Now, outside of that, it's crazy because there's so much beer here and there's so much spirit here. I want to give it a 50-50 split. I feel like that's doing the beer a disservice. I feel like the beer's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. I think this rye barrel, this whiskey barrel is adding a lot to the table. I think the spirit is bringing a lot of flavor here. I think that rye spiciness is adding a little bit of kind of what an American barley wine hop does, but it's that rye spiciness is adding a little counterbalance to the sweetnesses here. It's not overly sweet. It's an English barley wine, Asian bourbon barrels or spirit barrels. It's gonna be sweet, and it's bringing a lot to the table. There's vanilla in here. There's a decent amount of coconut. I believe there's a nice charriness. But when I say the words "believe" and charriness from the barrel, I mean is that I think there's such a density and just giganticness to the barley wine that it's like it's a behemoth of a beer. This is delicious stuff and epically well made stuff. And I'm gonna dare say this: very, very, very unique. I don't think I've ever had a barrel aged barley wine that quite comes off this way. With its ABV level, with its viscosity, but at the same time having a bit of drinkability to it, being as electrically loud and I don't want to use the word hot because that's what I'm going to say after that, is not hot. It's drinkable. There is a hair on fire to this beer that goes down relative smooth for its style and ABV, which is bonkers level stuff. And the beer side of things, it's like almost like a slight blackstrap molasses to the way it comes off. There's just rich kind of toffee-like character to it, figgy character, toffee character, those kind of things that you really love, that I really love when it comes to an English style barley wine. It's almost like I always go to that kind of sugar daddy going to raisinette kind of thing. That's kind of my epic kind of time frame when it comes to a lot of barley wines, whether they're barrel aged or just aged in general. This is almost like think about a chocolate covered raisin, but you made the chocolate covering with blackstrap molasses, and the raisin was injected with, I don't know. It was like a raisin, but not a raisin. It's like almost like maybe a date, a shriveled up date, or a prune almost. Maybe a prune is a better way to put it, because that prune has that little bit of kind of earthy spiciness to it. It's a very, very cool beer. It's a very cool beer, and honestly, I'm kind of a bit blown away by it. It's becoming a bit of a theme with Bonesaw barrel aged stuff. Like I said, the last one I had from them was quite nice, and I remember it just not being anything that kind of blew my doors off. I'm still, again, when you give me a couple heaters in a row, even if it's like, basically I had 3 beers before this barrel aged ones, and the first 2 were just, chin music at 101, and then the third one was like at 97 mile per hour fastball. Like, it's like, well, compared to those 2 chin music heaters, this 97 mile per hour fastball that was kind of belt level, I can handle that. I can handle that. It's kind of like one of those perceptional things. This is Aroldis Chapman on 9 lines of coke. This is like 105, and you're gonna die when it blasts in your skull, because there's zero control, but there's also control. I don't want to even demean it in that kind of way. Let's put it this way. I don't live in the secondary world. I can't do it. I don't have the money to live in that world, so maybe I'm just that person who's jealous that I can't live in that world. But I also, if I had a crazy amount of money, I don't think I'd live in it anyway. I don't think I can justify buying the crazy, super expensive bottles like that. Just because it's just not in me. It's just not the way I function. But I've had them. I've been lucky enough to have them. I have friends that are okay to live in that world. When I've gifted people, I've spent money like that for bottles that I knew friends would enjoy and gave it to them as a gift. But as far as myself goes, that's not me. But I would say this, since I have had those beers, I would be hard pressed. Yeah, I would be very much, unless you showed up with the bottle, and I had a bottle of this, and we drank it side by side. I don't know if you're getting a better barrel aged barley wine. I could be wrong. There probably is better ones, but 17 American dollars off a shelf in Flanders, New Jersey, as opposed to 80, 100, 200, 400, 500. Is it like, if this is 99.9% and those other ones are 100% like of flavor and enjoyment, like, that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like, that's all I'm saying. I'm not diminishing those other beers. If you have the money, you want to pay that for it, you do your thing. I think it's stupid because it just drives the prices up for everybody else, and beers people drink and everybody should enjoy. But you're telling me those things are markedly better than this beer. I think you're telling Porky Pies. End sentence. Not the end of the review, though. It's not much of a review here. I'm really just saying how much I love the beer rather than talking about it. Mouthfeel is fantastic. Very much barley wine meets Coca-Cola, but not in a weird Goose Island kind of way. Sarsaparilla, toffee, figgy, datey, pruny, blackstrap molassesy, rye spirits, nice barrel char that melds perfectly. That's probably the best way to end it. Everything about this beer is cohesive. Maybe that's time. Maybe it was a little bit more discombobulated, disjointed at the bottling. But you're talking about 2 to 3 years on a shelf or sitting in a bottle, because I don't know. They could have held these. I haven't seen this before at this other place. They could just be releasing these in the distro now. I don't know how they function. But man, as far as a cohesive beer that is working in unison, working in concert to bring you an epic amount of flavor and a fucking crazy amount of awness. $17. Off the shelf, just sitting there. Like a case of them. I want to go back and get more. I can go back and get more. I don't know what else to tell you. Yeah. Bonesaw. Out in the light. Is this one of the better barrel-aged beers that I've had as of late? Yes. Mount Rushmore status. This is one of the better barley wines I've had of late. Yes, Mount Rushmore status. Is it one of the better barrel-aged barley wines that I've had? Ever. Yes. Mount Rushmore status. Value availability off the shelf, $17, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you watch this, and you know if you'll like it. Come on. Bonesaw, have you been to the brewery? Have you had their beers? Have you had this beer? What's your favorite beer by them? If you had this, please tell me that you agree or disagree. I would like to know down there. This is my favorite one I've ever had from them. And this is my fifth, and one was a non-barrel aged. I have it up here. One was a hazy. It was fine. And the Le Déjeuner is a barrel aged Canadian breakfast style. It was tasty, but yeah. Call me Chris and I'm the synth music. But this beats the crap out of this. So you tell me down there. Hopefully you enjoyed the review at 17 minutes long. Hopefully you're enjoying some barrel aged barley wine right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.